All right, I'm gonna put Cindy's iPhone in waiting room. And you said the officer was Ford?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Can we bring Mr. Jordan up?
You talking to the jail, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Okay, sir. I just want- Let me, Mr. Jordan.
Okay. Mr. Jordan, my name is Brad Gardner. I'm a judge here in Magistrate Court. We're about to have your preliminary hearing. I want you to understand, sir, that this proceeding is being broadcast on YouTube. There's nothing that's private or privileged about this proceeding, so please don't say anything that you would not want the whole world to know, okay? Okay, Mr. Steele, for the record, this is going to be the case of State of Georgia versus Vincent Jordan, who's charged with one count of battery. Would you swear your witness in, please?
Officer Ford, can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the whole truth?
I do.
And can you please tell the court your full name for the record?
Kenyon Ford.
And are you ready to proceed, Your Honor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Officer Ford, where are you employed?
Clayton County Police Department.
And how long have you been employed there?
A little short of a year.
And were you employed there on July 25th, 2021?
Yes.
And on that particular day, were you called out to 1050, 5550 Day Lily Drive, Hampton, Georgia?
Yes, sir.
And is that location in Clayton County, Georgia?
It is.
Is it a residential or commercial property?
It's a residential property.
And can you please tell us why you were called out to that location?
We received a call out to the location from the witness, who's actually the homeowner of the location. Her daughter lives there, and the daughter's kids. And there was a domestic incident between the daughter and the kid's father. He came over to the house in an aggressive manner and, kind of disturbed the peace, causing a ruckus with things. Things got out of hand with him and the daughter, and also another acquaintance of the family who's the victim in the matter.
And you said the homeowner is Sydney Bellamy?
Yes.
And what did she say happened on that day?
The accused, Mr. Jordan, he came to the home, causing ruckus about the kids, something about dropping the kids off. He had a dispute with the kid's mother about dropping the kids off. So he came, he pulled up to the house. She said she pulled in the driveway, like halfway up, almost hitting the mailbox in an erratic manner. Because he wasn't able to like make contact with her via cell phone, and the arrangements of the meetup was disturbed. So he came over and was mad. He was arguing with them out in front of the house, kind of causing commotion in front of the neighbors and things. And then,
and I know you just said others. So who exactly did the defendant get into an argument with while on scene?
well, the argument was with his child's mother, and the victim, Miss Askew, that I spoke with on scene. She alleged she was, just there. She was at the home. I guess she's some acquaintance to the family, something like a god sister of some sort, something like that. She was there, and he was, cursing out everyone. She got into it. Words were exchanged between them, and then it became physical.
So physical contact occurred.
Yes.
And physical contact occurred between who?
The accused, Mr. Jordan, and the victim, Miss Askew.
And can you describe that physical contact?
It was stated to me that she was pushed down the steps, and she also slapped in the face in the incident. And she did show me a busted lip on scene of the incident, and I did have a picture that was attached to the report if you have it.
Who made contact first?
Say that again, sir.
Who made contact first?
Mr. Jordan.
And based off the victim, because my understanding is you spoke to the homeowner, you spoke to the victim. What did she say led up to this event? Speaking of just the victim.
Gotcha. So again, Mr. Jordan, he came over to the residence, Miss Cindy's residence, while they were all there, based off of the incident that he had the disturbance between him and his child's mother, because the arrangement for the meetup of dropping the kids was disturbed for some sort because he couldn't reach her via phone.
And did anyone on the scene state that the defendant and victim formerly or currently live together?
No.
And what exactly is kind of the relationship between the victim and the defendant?
They're acquaintances, but she's like a friend to the family, not any particular blood relation.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Officer Ford.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Moore?
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Ford, I presume, well, you authored a police report in this case, right?
Yes, sir.
And you've had a chance to review that police report, correct?
Yes, sir.
In fact, do you have it pulled up there with you for your review?
Yes.
Okay. And so you've been reviewing that while you've been testifying, right?
Say that again.
I said you've been reviewing that report while you've been testifying, correct?
I've skimmed through it.
Okay. You testified a moment ago something about somebody pushing somebody downstairs.
The incident occurred at the stairs of the residence in front of the house.
Right, but didn't you just say that somebody pushed somebody down some stairs or something like that?
If I said downstairs, it was a mistake. It was she was pushed in front of the stairs in the residence.
Okay, so I just to clarify, previously the testimony was that there was a push down the stairs. However, that's not accurate. It was just there's a push near some stairs. Is your testimony? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You never had an opportunity to discuss the case with Mr. Jordan, correct?
I did not.
I'm sorry.
When I arrived there, he was already gone. I attempted to make contact via phone. He didn't answer. I took out the warrants for him.
I understand. You weren't able to examine him at any point to see if he had any injuries on his person, correct?
No, sir.
In fact, all of the information that you obtained in this case was obtained from Mrs. Skew and from Miss Bellamy. Is that right?
That's correct.
And how long after the event would you say that it was before you arrived on scene, approximately?
Approximately about 15, 20 minutes or so.
Gotcha. And so none of the parties were able to discuss with you the tussle that occurred between Mrs. Skew and Mr. Jordan.
Mrs. Skew did and Miss Bellamy.
And so the event that occurred between them, would it be characterized as a tussle, or would it be just that Mr. Jordan attacked her?
It was a disagreement that became physical. It wasn't, they didn't say that he just attacked him like, abruptly.
All right. And so obviously there was some bad feeling on the part of Mrs. Skew towards Mr. Jordan as well. Is that right? Fair to say, I guess.
Well, I cannot say. I was just told she was hit after exchanging words.
But she was engaged in an altercation with Mr. Jordan. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. And you were unable to ascertain how that altercation began, except for what everybody told you. Is that right?
That's correct.
And Mrs. Skew is a friend of the family.
Yes, she's like a goddaughter to Miss Bellamy. She's some acquaintance of the family of some sort.
You have any idea what she was doing over there at the house?
I do not.
Was it that she was called over to help deal with Mr. Jordan?
If she was, I wasn't told that.
Okay. Now I know this had to do with Miss Bellamy's daughter, correct? The mother of Mr. Jordan's children. That's what this fight was over. Is that your understanding?
Yes.
Was she present on scene?
The mother.
Yes.
Yes, she was.
What's her name?
She refused to give me any information. She didn't want to speak with me.
Okay. So you did not have any conversations with her about what occurred?
I attempted to interview her about the incident, but she didn't want to speak with me.
Did she give you any indication as to why she didn't want to speak with you?
No, she just said she didn't want to speak with me. At the time, she was still, I'm guessing, elated from the incident. She was emotional at the time. She was crying. She was upset. But I guess she just didn't want to talk or something.
Sorry, and we're still referring to Miss Bellamy's daughter, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Is it your understanding that she was present for the entirety of the interaction?
Yes.
And so she would be, if she felt like talking, a witness to what occurred.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Was anybody else present,
The kids,
to your knowledge?
the children.
And how many children were there? Are there?
Say that again, sir.
Sorry, how many children?
I encountered just one infant that was inside the residence.
So there, I guess let me ask this another way. Was there anybody else present at the scene who would be in a position to have knowledge about what occurred between Mrs. Skew and Mr. Jordan?
Not that I have knowledge of, no.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. I don't have any further questions.
Any redirect, Mr. Steele?
No, Your Honor.
Officer Ford, is that because it's unclear to me? Can you tell me the relationships. Is Mr. Jordan's child, is the mother of the child Miss Bellamy?
No, Miss Bellamy, the one that I spoke with, I'm not sure if his child's mother's last name is Bellamy. Miss Bellamy is the grandmother to his kids.
Okay. Okay. All right. That helps a little bit. All right. Is there any other questions based upon the question I asked Officer Ford?
No, Your Honor.
Not
Okay.
from defense, Your Honor.
Can Officer Ford be released?
Yes, Your Honor. And then we can bring in Miss Cindy Bellamy.
Okay. Officer Ford, sir, you can be released, sir. Go about your day.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Ms. Bellamy, can you cut your camera on and mic?
Okay. So, Mr. Steele, you can swear in your witness and you can begin questioning.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bellamy, may you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the whole truth?
Yes, sir.
And can you please state your full name for the record?
Cindy Juanita Bellamy,
And Ms. Bellamy, where do you live?
in Lovejoy, well, in Hampton,
And what's the address to that location?
10550 Daylily Drive in Hampton, Georgia, 30228.
And so, Ms. Bellamy, I'm going to talk about July 25th, 2021. On that day, did you call the police?
Yes, I did.
And what was the reason for that call?
Because Vincent Jordan had knocked my goddaughter in the mouth with his fist.
And who is your goddaughter?
Jasmine Askew.
And is Mr. Jordan on the Zoom call? Is there a way for you to like swipe to see different? It might be at the top that lets you like slide left or right, or ask you to do it like a gallery view to see different people in the Zoom call.
Oh, who, me? Let's see him up here. Yeah,
Can you describe what he is wearing right now?
look like a red looking shirt or a jumper or something, and a face mask.
Your Honor, please let the record reflect that the defendant has been identified.
I'll let it go.
And so, Ms. Bellamy, leading up to the slap, the hit that you just mentioned, what exactly took place, the events leading up to that?
He called me. He said, "Hey, Sydney, is Lily home?" I said, "No, she's at Jasmine house." He said, "I've been calling her phone. She's not answering the phone." So I was like, "Well, she's over there at Jasmine house. She on her way coming home." So he said that he was bringing the boys. So when my daughter got home, she said, "Mom, Vince finna come drop the boys off, and he on some BS." So I said, "As long as he come over here, act like somebody, we won't have no problems." So when he got here, he brought the boys in the house, and he was going back and forth with my daughter. My daughter's like, "Vince, just go, just go." I'm standing there. I ain't saying nothing. So when he goes back outside, my goddaughter, she coming in the house, and he was like, "And you with this fat bitch right here with her dyke ass," and he was saying all kinds of stuff. course, I guess he was mad because my daughter went out the night before and he had his 2 sons. And
Your Honor, I'm going to object at this point. I think we're kind of approaching a narrative.
Sustain.
So when it comes to Ms. Q, there was an argument that occurred between the defendant and Ms. Q.
mhm,
And did physical contact occur?
mhm.
And who made contact first?
Mr. Jordan,
And can you just briefly describe what Mr. Jordan did to Ms. Q?
he swung on her and hit her in the face, hit her in the mouth.
And did you see the victim with any injuries?
Yeah, she had a busted lip.
Thank you, Ms. Bellamy. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Bellamy, what's your daughter's name?
Alicia,
Is it Bellamy?
yes,
Okay. Ms. Bellamy was on scene to witness what occurred, right?
yes,
And the fight was over essentially her. Is that accurate?
no, it wasn't over my daughter. He was just upset that she was with my goddaughter.
What do you mean by with your goddaughter?
They had went out the night before, they had went out and she didn't come home. She went to my goddaughter's house. And the next morning, my goddaughter brought her home.
Okay. Mrs. Skew, that's Mrs. Skew, right?
hmm
Mrs. Skew was there with your daughter when all this happened?
Yeah.
And what is Mrs. Skew's relationship to your daughter?
Oh, nothing. They just friends. They like sisters.
Gotcha. Did your daughter, to your knowledge, let Mrs. Skew know the situation with Mr. Jordan?
Oh, no. She just said that she had to get home because he's upset because he's not answering her phone.
Gotcha. So Mrs. Skew was aware that Mr. Jordan was upset.
Yeah. I mean, like any other time.
Would you say that Mrs. Skew is protective of your daughter?
I mean, no, because she don't try to get in the middle of my daughter and her kids, them dad. None of us do. What goes on between them is between them, as long as and ain't no physical contact going on.
But Mr. Jordan was being out of line that morning or day, right?
Yes, of course.
By the way, what time did this occur approximately? Give or take?
Oh, Jesus. I don't even know. I
Best
wanna say
guess.
About 10, I want to say, maybe 10 in the morning.
Okay. And Mr. Jordan came over upset, right?
Yeah, he was upset.
Mrs. Skew felt that it was her business, or at least it appeared to you that Mrs. Skew felt it was her business to intervene in the situation, correct?
Nope.
So,
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, she didn't intervene. No, he was calling her bitches and your dyke ass and all that. And that's when she defended herself by telling him, you mad at me because she went out with me? No,
You said that she defended herself. She defended herself physically, correct?
no, verbally, she defended herself when he was calling her out of her name. Of course, she responded back of the things that he was saying to her, but physically, no.
And so she at no point made physical contact with him in any way?
No, you got a grown man hit you in the face and you fall to the ground. You get up and then he swing at you again. No, you ain't even have time to get yourself together to call yourself trying to hit somebody back. And he taller than you.
Where did all this interaction occur?
in my front yard.
Okay. Were you in the house when it began?
No, I was outside.
Were you outside waiting for them to arrive, or how
No,
was that?
when he came in the house, when he came in, he dropped the boys off, right upstairs. Then he started going back and forth with my daughter. Then he went outside. And then he was telling my daughter, you know, they going downstairs. He telling my daughter, you out here with this fat bitch, da 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 da. And Jazz is coming in the house. Miss Askew is coming in the house. And while he's calling her all these names, she turns around and responds back to him.
She responds back to him in an aggressive fashion.
No, she just responded back to him, calling her names and stuff.
Right. And so she ended up getting in his face, right?
No, she didn't end up getting in his face. My daughter is trying to stop him from coming towards her. She's steady trying to push him back. And he take his arm and he swings around my daughter and hit Miss Askew in the mouth,
And this occurred in the house or in the front?
in the front yard.
I thought you said they had a confrontation inside the house.
No, I said my daughter and him was going back and forth after he dropped the boys off in the front, in the upstairs. They was in their car seat. One was in the car seat, one was walking. He put that one down, then him and my daughter was going there.
I
And
got
they
it.
started going outside.
That makes sense. Okay. Sorry, I was confused about that. Was there anybody else present who'd be able to testify or have knowledge about what occurred between everybody? Any other adults or anybody able to see anything?
It was me, my daughter, Jazz. I don't think it was nobody else there. And them kids, them babies.
Well, you say
My
babies.
My
I'm sorry.
grandbaby, they was there when all of this was going on.
They were in the house though, correct?
No, it was on the porch.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Steele?
Uh,
Any
no,
redirect?
no, Your Honor.
Okay. May Miss Bellamy be excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Ma'am, you are free to go. Thank you for your attendance here today.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Mr. Steele, do
Yes.
you have any argument? Well, first, before I ask that question, let me ask this question. Is there a reason that Ms. Askew is not here to testify?
Your Honor, our office just could not, but Ms. Bellamy was readily available, so we just asked Ms. Bellamy to come and testify today, Your Honor.
Okay.
The victim's not there?
I'm sorry, who is Kia's phone, iPhone? Is that a witness?
I have no idea who that is, Your Honor.
I guess she just hung up. I've had to mute her twice. I'm sorry, go ahead, Mr. Steele. Do you have any argument?
I'll reserve for rebuttal, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Moore.
Your Honor, I just would ask the court to note that the court was inquiring. The alleged victim in this case, Ms. Askew, was not present. The vast majority of the testimony that was provided was hearsay from the officer. We also have a witness who for some reason was not called, Miss Alicia Bellamy, was not interviewed by the officer. So it seems like there's several missing pieces here. And so we would just submit on the evidence as provided and ask the court to find that there's not probable cause to find this case over. Thank you.
Mr. Steele, before you speak, I do have some concerns about the testimony that I've heard here today. I do have a concern that the Miss Bellamy was characterized as a victim, but she is at best a witness that may have a motive or an interest. I do have a concern that the victim is not here to testify. I listened carefully to testimony of Miss Bellamy. And I have some concerns about how much weight to give to her testimony. So I want to give you fair warning so that you can address those issues if you choose to in your summation.
Yes, Your Honor. So as for this is a probable cause hearing, hearsay is allowed. We had testimony from the officer and from the homeowner, Ms. Bellamy. The officer stated essentially what was told to him, what was told to the victim, which is admissible, Your Honor. And the weight of from the witness, Your Honor, definitely was here to more so identify the defendant, since the defendant was not on scene when the officer was there. And based upon the officer's testimony, based upon the view of what Ms. Bellamy had of being at the scene, with both accounts lining up, that Mr. Jordan came to the property irate, agitated, and attacked Ms. Skew, and therefore we have our battery, Your Honor.
Okay, so you notice I didn't say it was not admissible. I said the weight, as hearsay is allowed. But as the fact finder, I'm the person that determines how much weight to give to the testimony. So I'm going to dismiss this case with the knowledge, Mr. Jordan, I'm just a magistrate court judge. The solicitor's office can go and accuse this case tomorrow. So this is by no way something where this case is over. But I do have a problem with what I've heard. It just, based upon the testimony that I heard, assuming every fact was true, there's no way, shape, or form that an adult should act that way or be at that location or place themselves in a position where you've been sitting in jail now since September 30th. So the case is going to be dismissed. The solicitor's office is free to pick it up and charge it as they see fit. But I'm not going to let this go forward. So there's going to be a dismissal order in this particular case. All right, what's the next? Well, I'm
Thank you.
sorry.
No, just thank you, Judge.
Okay. So, Ms. Gross, you have people that you need to see,
I
correct?
do, Your Honor. I have two clients I need to speak with. One is De Jesus and one is Stewart.
Okay. Can we bring De Jesus up to speak to Ms. Gross? I'm going to place you both in the breakout room. Mr. Steele, give me one moment, sir. Let's see.
And Your Honor, there was other people as well that I was going to conference with prior to giving announcements. Do you want me to wait, or do you want me to just go on in there with Ms. Gross and start
Well,
going at them?
if that's what you are comfortable with, I can put Mr. Kim, Mr. Moore, and Ms. Gross, I can put you all in the same room and you just identify the people that you need to speak to.
If that works
Um,
for you, that'd be fine, Your Honor.
Yes, that's fine. And Mr. Steele, I'll tell you this, sir. That case, my ruling had nothing to do with your performance in that case. I think at least what I've seen on first appearance, a lot of times, even with warrant, I did warrant week last week. I did over 80 warrants. I'm getting called at 3 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. And I think a lot of times, instead of investigating cases, it's just easier to go get a warrant and just put the case into the system. That case, in my judgment, it was a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of dumb stuff. And I think it just clogs up the system. Now, of course, your office can choose to do whatever you want to do moving forward. And I understand that, but I think at some point we got to stop being the dog that's being wagged by the tail, meaning that the members in the courthouse are just there to, like they say when you say squirrel, and we just jump at it. I think it's not enough thought being put on these cases on the front end, instead of waiting till you get there with a trial calendar of 200 people and you're trying to figure stuff out. So, all right, I'm gonna place Ms. Gross, Mr. Kim, and Mr. Moore back in the jail, and I'm gonna turn my camera off and just let me